to be combining like terms and distributing. This should be review for you. The first thing we need to talk about is what is combining like terms. And it's just when we're looking for terms that have the same variable and we can combine them. It's just a fancy way of saying we can add them together. So here are some examples. 7m and m. You can combine them. 7m and 1m. If there's not a number in front of the variable, it's a 1. Because there's only one m here. Mathematicians are just kind of lazy, so we don't put the 1 there. So if you combine 7m and 1m, you would have 8m. On the other example, we have negative n and 13n. That's the same as negative 1n and 13n. And if you made a t-chart with these two numbers, we have the 1 on the negative side, 13 on the positive side. Because they're on different sides, we're going to find the difference between them, and that would be 12. And 13 has the most points, so it is positive 12 n. Non-examples would be 7m and m squared. Because you have to always look at the exponent. This would have an exponent of 1, and this one has an exponent of 2. They are not the same kind of term, so you cannot combine them. Here are two practice problems. Looking at the first one, a plus b minus 12 minus x plus 2a. I'm going to first look for things that are the same. I'm going to draw a box around the a. And then I'm going to look through the rest of the problem and see if there are any other a's that I can combine with it. And that's going to be the 2a. And I have to put the plus sign in front. Always include the operation or the symbol that is in front of the term. Then I'm going to use another shape for the b. I have positive b with a circle. I'm going to look for other b's, and I don't have any, so I'm done with that. Then I have a number, minus 12. I'm going to make a triangle for that one. I don't see any other whole numbers or regular numbers without a variable, so I'm done with that. And then the minus x, I might make up my own shape, because that's going to be different as well. Now all I have to do is combine the things that are the same shape. So the a's would be a plus 2a, and that's 1a plus 2a, so that would be 3a. And I can mark those off because they're finished. All the other terms do not have anything we can combine with it, so we're just going to bring them down as they are. Plus b minus 12 minus x, and as I write them, I can cross them off. When everything's crossed off, that would be my simplified expression. Question number 2. 2x plus 16 minus 3x equals, minus 3x plus 4. So I'm going to start with boxing my x's. Always include the symbol in front of it. I'm going to circle my next term, and I have another whole number to join with it. So now I can combine the squares, the 2x minus 3x. I'm going to make a t-chart because it looks a little tricky. I have 2 and I have 3. We're going to find the difference, so that would be 1. And since 3 is more, it's a negative 1. So we have negative 1x. And then I have 16 plus 4, which is positive 20. So I put plus 20. An even simplified version of this answer would be negative x plus 20, because you do not need the 1 in front of it. But both of these are mathematically correct. The next examples are number 3. We have 12 plus x minus 9 plus 3x. I'm Again, going to circle and box and triangle everything that's the same. I'm going to start with a regular number, and I find that I have another regular number, an x, and an x. So I can combine the 12 minus 9, and that gives me 3. And I can combine the x plus 3x. There's not a number with the x, so I'm going to put a 1 there. So that would be 1x plus 3x, which is positive 4x. In math, we usually put the variables first. So another, even more correct version of this answer would be 4x plus 3. But both of them are mathematically correct. Question 4. I have an x. Don't forget the not minus in front of it. I have another x. Don't forget the plus in front of it. I have a regular number and a regular number. So let's look at negative x plus x. That's the same as negative 1x plus 1x. If I make a t-chart with that, I have a 1 on the negative side, a 1 on the positive side. They're on different sides, so I find the difference. The difference between these is 0. So I don't even have anything to put for x values. So now I can make a t-chart with negative 9 and negative 18. They're both going to go on the negative side, so I can add them together. That equals 27. They're on the negative side, so the answer is negative. So the simplified answer for this expression would be negative 27. Look at distributing. It's a way to multiply out the parts of an expression. So our first example, negative 9, parentheses, negative 3 minus 8x. Whenever I see parentheses, I'm going to draw arrows. And I might even put a little dot above those to show that I'm going to multiply. So I'm first going to multiply negative 9 times negative 3. If I make my sleepy man, Dorito man, whatever you call him, I have 2 negatives. That's going to give me a positive. 9 times 3 is 27. Then I have to multiply negative 9 times negative 8. Again, that's going to be a positive because it's multiplying 2 negatives together. So I'm going to put a plus symbol to show my positive. And 9 times 8 is 72. And I'm going to bring the x down. We cannot combine these two to simplify it any further because one of them has a variable and the other one does not, so that would be our final answer. Let's do a couple examples. The first one is the one we just did, so I'm not going to do it again. Number 2, I have negative 7, and I have to distribute it to everything in the parentheses. So negative 7 times 7x, if I have a negative times a positive, we have a negative times a positive, and that's going to give us a negative. So we have negative, 7 times 7 is 49, bring down the x. And then negative 7 times negative 1, a negative times a negative equals a positive. So that's going to be positive, so I put a plus sign. 7 times 1 is 7. We have a variable and a regular number, so we cannot combine them. That would be our simplified answer. Here's the next problem. We have 10 minus 4, parentheses, negative 2x plus 3. This one's a little tricky, and it's because we have this minus sign in front of the 4, which means I'm going to bring down the 10 as is. But I have to circle that negative because that's what I have to distribute into the parentheses. I'm going to draw my arrows and draw my arrow. So negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8x. I put plus 8x. And then negative 4 times positive 3 is a negative. And we look at 4 times 3, 12. Now we have some things that we can combine. So I can combine the two whole numbers, and then the plus 8x will be by itself. So we're combining 10 minus 12, so 10 and negative 12. They're on different sides, so I find the difference, which is 2. The 12 is bigger, so it's negative 2. And then I can bring down the positive 8x. So 8x minus 2 would be the most accurate answer. You could also have negative 2 plus 8x, which is still mathematically correct, but this would be the better answer, as we want the variable to come first. Next one, number 4. 5 plus 1/2 that we're distributing into 6x minus 14. I'm going to bring down the 5, and I am multiplying 1/2 times 6x and times minus 14. Because I have a fraction to distribute, I'm going to make these fractions as well by putting a 1 underneath them. So I have positive 1/2 times 6x over 1. So I multiply the 1 times 6x, which is positive 6x, and the 2 times 1, which is 2. And then I have positive 1/2 times 14 over 1. So I'm going to multiply the numerators. 1 times negative 14, which is negative 14, over 2 times 1, which is 2. I'm going to simplify the fractions, and luckily they simplify easily. 5 plus 6 divided by 2 is 3x, minus 14 divided by 2 is 7. And now I have to see if I can combine anything. I'm going to circle, circle, and box. 5 and 7, I'm going to make a T-chart. Different sides, find the difference, which is 2. 7 has more points, so negative 2. Bring down the 3x. That would be our most accurate answer, but again, negative 2 plus 3x would also be mathematically correct. Now we're going to do some classwork practice so that we can get ready for the mastery.